Today we're going to be looking at gesture drawing with charcoal and Conte. You can see I've got a little bit of my supplies here. This is a Conte, and they look like a little pencil kind of crayon-y thing. It's just compact drawing material. They come in different colors. We won't use white today, but I do end up using brown and black. And this is charcoal. Charcoal comes in a pencil, but it can also come just as charcoal itself. And I'm starting out here with a really big piece of paper. So you can get newsprint in a lot of places, or right here I'm just using like a big piece of paper that you can get for kids to draw on. Real thin sheet paper, because this first part, what we're going to do is focus on just using our arm to draw rather than our fingers and our hands specifically. If you notice, my whole arm is moving lots of times as I'm doing this. And what I'm just trying to do is come up with different lines, filling up the page. I'm not really trying to draw a drawing. I'm covering over the other stuff that's there, getting my hand used to kind of doing this stuff. Along with the link to this video, I'm going to have a link to check out some movement pictures. It's photographers that have taken people and other things in movement. And what I did is, right now I'm looking at that on the iPad and using different ones as some inspiration. You can see here I'm using the charcoal itself, and that's real messy. You can see at a certain point I just use my hands to fill those colors in. Here I'm looking at another one of a person that's kind of, they take a picture as they're moving their head from one side to the other. So it's almost like you get three different views. Um, this seems to me to look a lot like something Picasso might do. So I'm kind of doing this quickly with a charcoal. I'm going to end up doing a whole bunch of drawings, not so much just one thing, so that we're just getting used to the material and trying some different things out. With the previous work, I was trying to just make a lot of movement with my hands. Now I'm going to be a little bit more detailed focused just with my hands and my fingers. And I took a couple objects around my house. I had a Campbell soup can, and I got a magic 8 ball that my kids had. So I start out here going through the whole thing and just laying roughly where I think the things are going to be. And you can actually see a little bit of what I'm looking at, including the shadows, which becomes important towards the end of this. Now I'm using the Conte crayons. They are not quite as messy, but they will spread around a little bit. So I kind of have these two going together. Charcoal and Conte have a very similar feel to them. It's just in the end, the um, charcoal is messier, is really what it comes down to. You can't really erase either of them. You can spread each of them around. The charcoal spreads around more. So I'm going in here looking at the details of this. It's not just a round ball. When I look at it, you can see I actually see the like just the bare reflection of myself in there. So I kind of drew that out a little bit. And then I go and check out all the shadows around there. You could see in the past video that I'd already done this one, or earlier in the video, and just the end of it gets cut off, but you can see how it turns out there. For this last part, I'm looking at the pictures from the internet, and one of the was of a lady or a person jumping around and with a time lapse. So you couldn't really see an image of a person exactly, but it had all this fantastic movement. So I'm kind of using that. If you notice, I am kind of moving my whole arm, not just my fingers or my hand, although my arm is a little bit off screen here. I'm using that as inspiration. So what I want you to do with this is practice with these a little bit messier drawing techniques just to see what you can make happen with them. And then from there, we'll go into something a little bit more finished worth of work. But this is a good way to start some practice. Big sheets of paper, big movements. See what we can make happen. The last thing, if you're doing this right, your hand should be covered in different materials. All right, let's see what you come up with.